Well, while people are joining us for today's presentation, if you want to drop in the chat box where you're joining us from, that'll be really cool to know what our reach is today.
Recording in progress.
Hello, friends. Okay, Salt Lake City. I missed a couple. Let's see. Vermont, Columbus. I bet you we're going to have a lot of people from Columbus who have walked by this beautiful project here tonight, and we're so happy to tell you more about it. Madison, Wisconsin is represented.
Go CODAworx.
San Diego, Denver, Greater Philly. Okay, DC, I'm in DC too. Welcome everybody. I think we're going to give it one more minute and then we'll get rolling. We've got a few people connecting to audio. Wow, the UK. Awesome. A little bit of housekeeping. We ask you to remain muted and have your video off. So we can see the presentation in its fullest. And we've got Seattle here, awesome. I'm gonna give it one more minute and then get the ball rolling so we have as much time as possible for Q&A. All right, welcome, welcome. So great to see so many folks from all over the world, literally joining us. I am Marcy Reed. I am with the Architects Foundation, and we're so happy to be hosting this presentation this evening with our friends at CODAworx. And if you're not aware, the Architects Foundation is the philanthropic partner of the American Institute of Architects. And our mission is to attract, inspire, and invest in the next generation design community to have positive impact in the world. We are also stewards of a special place of inspiration here in Washington, D.C. called the Octagon, where we have been exhibiting the CODAawards since 2016. So normally, beautiful images and information about projects like the one we're going to learn about tonight would be gracing the walls of our historic building. But we're so happy that CODAworx was able to pivot with us and do this online and convene the great conversation we're going to have tonight. And the good news is, look at where everybody is coming from to join us. The reach is amazing. We're really thrilled. So I'm going to turn it over now to Nicole Carroll, who is the Vice President of Business Development with CODAworx. She's going to tell us a little more about her organization, this amazing project, and then she's going to get the conversation started tonight. Thanks. Nicole, take it on.
Hi there, good evening. Thank you so much, Marcy. I just wanted to thank the Octagon for being great supporters of the CODAawards since 2016. I can't believe it's been that long. I actually just want to dive right in and begin to talk about the project and kind of set things up, and then we'll watch a video and launch into a great dialogue with these talented artists. So Los Angeles-based artists Ryan Yanoe, Sarfati, and Eric Zoueh, Skotnes, are the 2020 CODA Award winners in public art for their project, The Journey, a triptych mural on the facade of the Graduate Hotel in the Short North Arts District of Columbus, Ohio. The murals, which are the tallest in the city, depict the journey of a hummingbird connecting man to the gods. Mythological figures signify the prosperity of Columbus, while the portrait of a local Somali woman, Hodan Mohammed, founder of the community organization Our Helpers, wearing a traditional guntiino, represents the journey of new Americans in Columbus, a welcoming city. And I think Megan's going to play our video.
He represents strength and the will that it takes to do anything in life, to change. And without action, there's no change.
There's a two-part narrative to the wall. A part of it's the hummingbird and what it takes to be a hummingbird and the distance it travels. And then the second one is the life of an immigrant, what it takes to immigrate here and integrate here into the United States and Columbus and call this place their home.
Visible.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Ryan, Eric, and Hodan, it's great to have you here to hear more about your careers and the making of your winning project, The Journey, which was completed in 2019. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Thank you.
Ryan and Eric, I'm so curious, how did you move your art careers from being prolific street graffiti artists in the 1990s to this museum exhibition?
Eric, you want to take this one?
Yeah, for me, I guess, well, I started out doing graffiti when I was 11. And I think I got bored quickly of being constrained by graffiti and just letters, and started pushing doing murals and more visual kind of landscape paintings and things in a larger scale. And it ended up leading me into Art Center in Pasadena and studying figurative art. And slowly that grew, and I just kept pushing, trying to get larger and larger. I always was obsessed with size and doing something on a grander scale. Being a smaller person, I'm not a large person. I always wanted my presence to be big. So the larger I could paint, the more presence I felt. And this, in 2019, we did our largest piece to date, which was The Journey. That was the brief summary of that.
Ryan, how about you? And how did you guys meet?
Well, I mean, our journey through this whole thing is actually quite similar in the sense that we've actually known about each other for over 20 years. So I used to paint in the 90s as well, graffiti in Los Angeles, and so did he. So we would naturally see each other on freeways and whatever else. And so I knew of his presence. I knew who he was, but I had never connected with him. And then, fast forward through our journey of life, we reconnected about 6 or 7 years ago. Met each other for the first time, and then realized like our lives were completely parallel this entire time. I mean, there's dates and times and places where we were in the exact same place at the exact same time and did not know who we were. So like an example is 1999, there was a graffiti event in Mexico. And we were at the same place at the same time and had no idea who we were. And so it's funny, life kind of threw us for a loop with the graffiti thing. And, it was kind of hard to navigate that path and, getting through it and coming out to the other side and figuring out what we kind of want out of life and art and everything else. It just made so much sense for me and him right now in this time of our life to kind of connect and do this together. So it's kind of an organic process of us meeting and essentially becoming business partners and best friends.
Awesome. What a beautiful story. Thanks for sharing that. So I'm curious, how did this particular commission come about? Were you guys, was it a competition or were you guys invited?
Yeah, so CODAworx, which is the website we predominantly use for all of our public RFQs. So this was a public RFQ, which means that it's released publicly for anybody to submit for. And you basically build a presentation and go through the process of submitting and showing past work and your qualifications and whatnot. And leading up to that, we had done very large walls, but vertically, like Eric said, this was the largest wall we had ever painted. So the challenge was there, but there's never been a challenge that me and Eric haven't really risen up to. So we gave this all, gave it everything we had as far as the presentation goes and in the artwork. And really, we flew out there to kind of get a feel for who lives there and who we're making this artwork for. And so we took it very serious and applied for it. And, the process is really long. And, then it shrinks down to 3 people and it's shortlisted. And then from there, there's a winner chosen. And so that's kind of the general process of how we got the job. Fast forward now, come to find out, I think we beat out almost 360 people for the submission. So this wasn't an easy feat by any means. We definitely gave it our best shot, and it looks like it rewarded us in full. And we were able to, one of the greatest things about this project is that creative control was given to us the entire time. And that's very rare in this day and age, specifically in commercial artwork and the commercial field that we live in now.
Well, thank you for mentioning that you found it on CODAworx. We have wonderful artist resources that list many, many opportunities that are available for artists to apply to. And I know when artists go through these different, reading a little bit about each of these potential projects, what was it in particular about this one that excited you, that got you to take the time to actually apply to it? I'm curious, what was that?
Eric?
I think first off was, I think there was an architectural drawing of the building. And so we saw the panels that were highlighted that they wanted painted. And immediately, I think that drew our attention. That was the first thing. And then when we saw the budget, we thought that, we can implement augmented reality into this, because we've been wanting to do augmented reality mural for some time, and trying to facilitate that was always hard because it's not the cheapest thing to do it properly. So that drew us even more to that. So we just decided to apply at that point.
Yeah, I would like to jump in there. Yeah, I think this was the first budget essentially where it was allowing us to step outside of the box and not just do a basic mural. And this was that opportunity. And then we were actually, the original RFQ was 75,000, and we landed there after we were told that we won, and they were like, "Oh, so you guys won, but there's a problem." And we were like, "Oh, what's the problem?" And it was actually great news. Betsy and Caitlin over at Short North have a sense of humor, but they doubled the size of the project. So now we were doing the whole building, and obviously we rose up to the occasion and kind of did it. But yeah, the process of going after the job was, for me, the sheer scale of the building, and the budget was in line with the vision that we wanted to achieve with this augmented reality. So if I could say anything to all the people who are sending out RFQs, if the budget's there, it allows us to actually think outside of the box, be creative, and push the boundaries of what we're seeing in art right now.
That's great. So going into the project, you thought it was a much smaller scale, and in reality, it was it tripled at that point, because it became all 3 facade?
Yeah, so originally I think it was
It was the
each
middle.
side, the north and south, it was just one tall panel on each side. But when Ryan and I flew there and landed, we looked at the wall, and this was before they even told us that they wanted everything painted. Yeah. We were like, okay, how can we convince them to just let us paint everything? We'll paint everything for what they're doing. We don't want to paint just the sliver. And then when we met Betsy, she was like, well, we want the whole thing painted now. And we're like, great, because we had already planned that in our heads, that's what we were going to do regardless. So it was kind of a blessing for us.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we love to do. So like for us, it was like, oh, it makes sense to just cover this building. And we were going to do it for the same price, which means we would have come out of pocket, honestly. But for us, it was worth it. I mean, you don't get opportunities like this often, and you kind of got to take advantage of them when they come and maximize and give it your best shot.
Yeah. Well, you know, I work with a lot of commissioners, and the one thing that I always impress upon them is you are going to be so amazed at what the artists come up with. Artists are amazing problem solvers. You see beauty and analogy in everything that you do. So it's such a pleasure when I get to see a project like this when it's finished. So going into the project, what did you think the most challenging aspect was going to be? Was it the scale, or was it something else? What was the reality of what was most challenging?
For me, I think it was wrapping the sides of the building and making them look cohesive with the swing stages. It's not easy to wrap around a corner and make an image fit properly when you don't have that much. You're hanging off, 11 stories up, hanging off the side, making sure everything wraps perfectly. That was probably the most challenging, to be honest, at least in my mind.
Yeah, I would say mine would be the same. I feel like I'm in good hands when we're doing these kind of things together. Me and Eric say it pretty often, like we're artists, but our jobs we're really problem solvers, right? So like most artists can do what we do, but most artists can't figure out how to do it, And so I think that's what we have going for ourselves is there's problems through any project. You're dealing with other humans, right? You're relying on other humans to do their part and with a team effort, and so things get sometimes hard in certain cases. With this project, we had swing stage issues where we weren't getting them installed properly, and so on and so forth. And for us, I think there was no stress going into it. It was more of just trying to stay focused and problem solve through the whole process, because every day, every week, there was a new situation, a new problem to solve. And that's aside from us having to do our normal job, which is paint this mural, right? So it's not really going into it. It's more of like buckling down and getting ready for it. So I didn't have a lot of fear going into it. I knew that we were going to give this our best shot. And then also hiring the proper team to go into this was very important to us too. You need to be supported, right? To be able to achieve what you want to do. And so I think for us, we were going into it with the best team that we could possibly think of. And for that alone, I was pretty confident going into it. And then obviously, there's still fear there, but that kind of subsided once we got started.
So go ahead, Eric.
I just saw a question pop up about how long it took. And I was going to say 5 weeks for the painted portion and another about a month and a half for the augmented reality to be finished.
Thank you for paying attention to the chat. Ryan, I'm curious, do you think that some of your problem solving skills come out of your background as a mechanical engineer?
Yes, definitely. Actually, not many people know about that. I've lived quite a few different lives in my one life. I did mechanical engineering for 13 years. I did storyboarding for many, many years. I did treatment design for directors in TV and film. I'm still a part of Local 800, the entertainment industry for storyboarding. It's the ADG, I think is what it's called. Sorry. Yeah, I think everything in my life has kind of gotten me to this moment, and like the mechanical engineering side of things allowed me to figure out the process of how to problem solve this stuff, as well as like all the way down to like how I save my file formats, like how my structure of my backend and my computer looks like. I mean, from everything. And then storyboarding allowed me to kind of create the renderings that allow us to do these pitches. And then treatment design allowed me to create these proposals to be able to submit to places like CODAworx and clients to be able to show them what we're capable of to get our foot through the door. So my whole life has been leading up to this very moment, I feel like. And honestly, I couldn't have, I mean, Eric is just as vital. We are like, I mean, like yin and yang. Our logo is a yin and yang symbol, so it makes sense.
A great partnership, which is always needed. We all need support in our lives for sure, and partnerships. So public art can embody our community spirit and aspirations by honoring the past and envisioning our future. The mural is beautiful. And in addition to aesthetics, let's talk a bit about how the art engages and inspires residents and visitors both intellectually and emotionally. And at this juncture, I'd love to bring Hodan Mohammed into our conversation. She's joining us from Egypt. I saw you on the panel here, Laura. I think she's still here. I can't see her name, but there you are. Hi, Hodan.
Hi.
How are you?
I am great. I can't open my camera, but I can still talk.
Perfect.
I think it is a permission from the host.
We can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for joining us. What time is it in Egypt right now?
You are very welcome. It's a little past 12 midnight.
Oh boy. Well, we greatly appreciate you joining us this late. As I mentioned a minute ago, Hodan is the founder of Our Helpers, a community organization whose mission is to inspire long-lasting self-sufficiency. Did I capture that correctly, Hodan?
The mission?
Yes.
The mission, yeah. The mission is to help immigrants overcome social and economical obstacles through education, advocacy, and job placement. Yep, you got it.
Great. Well, thanks for filling it in a bit more than what I said. Your portrait is absolutely captivating in this mural. You are a very beautiful woman. And tell us, how is it that you became involved and were the model for these gentlemen?
I think because of the work that our organization does and the connection that we have with the community is, I think, the root of it. And the importance of the work that we do for the community was the root of the cause.
Great. So tell us a little bit more about the community, about the many people and the neighborhoods that are united on High Street, for those of us who've never visited.
Our organization is located more in Northeast Columbus, not far from where the mural is. So there's a lot of immigrants that live in Columbus, and Columbus is really a welcoming city. And it was really thoughtful that the mural is in the heart of our city. So to show the immigrant community and the local community themselves that the city is a welcoming city, it was really very important to see that, and it makes us happy to see that, you know, the mural is an immigrant person representing our city.
That was a huge part of it for myself as well, if you don't mind me chiming in.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
So the concept of having a Somali woman or figure on the wall was evident to me when I left our visit, when we were visiting Columbus. Like, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I knew this was a moment for me to give a voice to people that typically don't have the forefront or a voice that's loud enough to be heard. And so going into this, I had this concept. I did a whole video shoot with the guntiino dress, which I bought from overseas, had flown to my house, did the the photo shoot, and put everything together and submitted it. We ended up getting approved for the project, but Betsy, Pandora, and Caitlin from Short North Arts District reached out to me and said, "Hey, we've have found a woman who is a part of the Somali community and who is very heavily involved, and we would love to get her input on the design." And I said, "Of course, like, what better way to make sure that we're doing this properly?" And so I believe Caitlin and Betsy called Hodan and had a discussion, and then called us back and explained to us her life story, which we could have a whole panel discussion on just Hodan's life story. But the fact of hearing her story, and then her later on telling me her own story personally about how she helps the community, which happens to be the second largest Somali population in the United States. That's what she does. And she's helped over 5,000 people. And when I heard that, I knew that she needed to be the person who was represented on the wall. Another thing too, is a little side note, is when we submitted this, me and Eric sat down with this, and because we don't know how many people are ready in the public atmosphere to have a large scale immigrant on a wall in the middle of Columbus, Ohio, we felt like we were risking getting the job by doing that, but we felt like it outweighed losing the job to submit this and get it through. To us, it was a no-brainer. And so we just went for it. And luckily, the people who were involved agreed and wanted to see the same kind of social conversation happen in a large scale. And so luckily, they chose us, and we were able to move forward. And for me, Hodan was and is an incredible human that should be highlighted for everything that she does for the Somali people of Columbus, Ohio.
Eric, did you want to add anything here?
No, I fully agree. And I mean, it was a pleasure to get to know Hodan. And I mean, when we first got to Columbus, she took us in, and she fed us, and it was amazing just to get to know her, and then just to see the community's reaction after the mural was painted. People would drive, I mean, hours and hours to come take photos in front of this mural, and I mean, it's amazing, and I think it touched a lot of people's lives, as she has throughout the community. And I mean, she's just continuing this. You're a very special person, Hodan, and I'm glad that we got to meet and get to know you.
Thank you.
It's so nice, the story of how you met and incorporated the immigrant story into the mural. And when I think about artists, you are definitely change agents and always challenging society to look at reality and to welcome new changes. So I think that's really great. Were there any other community engagement things that you wanted to share with us this evening? Did you?
Yeah, we did a it was like a small residency with a group of artists from Columbus, who some of them have gone on to do amazing things through public art right now. And it was kind of, we built panels along the south side of the wall, north side of the wall, and in the alleyway. And we had them design, I think it was a 4 or 5 day process. They designed murals, 2 teams of 5 people each, and they had to create these murals where all their styles integrated. And then they had to execute them just below our mural. And that was very, very special, because now I'm in contact with most of those artists, and to see them flourish now, and now they're doing large scale projects, I think through CODAworx, actually, a few of them. And some of them are traveling the world doing murals. And it's wow. that kind of stuff is the essence of what we do. If we can continue to push this creativity to other people, and other people feed off it and grow and then pass it on, that's a beautiful thing.
It is. And I think from my experience too, seeing like what artwork at this scale does for a city in its entirety is pretty amazing. I think for me, like the visual of what I feel like happens after we leave when we do these projects is that I think more people in the community are like, hey, I want some of that on my building, or, you know, I want to do that. Like, that's what I want to do for a living. So I think in general, public art does that, period. You know, like it evokes a little something out of everybody, you know? And I think when you do it at this scale, it kind of, I think, promotes and uplifts art in general throughout an entire city.
I agree. Public art. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Laura.
This is Laura. I'm the COO of Art Helpers, and I just wanted to thank the artists. Your impact that you have left on our city is tremendous, and you may not realize that Hodan started our organization, and it's a women-led organization, and she is the only immigrant refugee women-led organization in Columbus, and it's an incredible impact that you've given us, and a gift. And now that Hodan's taking a break, and she's in Egypt right now, and so I'm sort of taking the reins, and anytime I get sad and miss her, I go to the mural. So thank you for bringing Hodan close to home to me, and so I feel supported here, and what you've done is tremendous, and the community thanks you for your impact.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I still receive direct messages to this day from people who still travel pretty far distances to view the mural. Just recently, last week, a gentleman drove his elderly father 6 hours to just show him the mural. I thought that was pretty crazy. I thought that was pretty special. I don't know, for somebody to do that, to see something that I've done means a lot to me. You know, I have tons of messages from people who are very thankful, and I'm just like thankful that I was capable of doing such a thing. You know, I'm very humbled to even have been able to do this, you know.
I saw a few questions pop up. Are we going to save those till the question and answer, the Q&A at the end? Or?
We can field them now. I just wanted to ask Laura to give us the URL of your organization if some of us wanted to check it out further.
Sure, no problem. I'll put it in the chat.
Awesome, thank you. Eric, go ahead if you'd like to answer some of the questions that are there.
Yeah, one was, what building is it on? It's on the Graduate Hotel on High Street in Short North District. And the other question was about using spray paint, and if there's a more ecological way to do this without spray cans. Lately, we've been diving into more mixed medium, where it's majority of latex paint, and then spray paint is the detail. And then we're going into a project in August, which is all going to be latex. And we do use the the best, I guess, environmentally safe paint that we can. I mean, if there is that available, but that's what we can do at this moment. There are some things that we have to spray paint with, because you can't emulate that style with brush or with a spray gun at this moment.
Yeah. I'm trying to replicate
it. Do you put like a protective coating over everything? So how do you protect the colors and so forth from UV and?
We clear coat. We clear coat everything with a Modern Masters clear coat, which extends the life after latex for 10 more years. So at least a minimum of 30 years.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It's expensive process, but it's worth every penny to clear coat a mural. Especially with some of the locations we've been painting in are very hot and the sun's beating down. The idea of leaving this behind for 30 plus years was important to us. So we definitely clear coat everything. In regards to the spray cans, I'm the only person who's really at fault for the spray can ecological part. Eric only paints with latex. Surprisingly, he paints an 11-story building with a brush. It's crazy. I use spray paint. Eric's trying to get me to push away. I do use the best spray paint I possibly can. There are more friendly versions of it for smaller walls. There's a spray paint made out of sugarcane, and there's also water-based spray paint that's available as well. And if that's possible, I will use that whenever I can.
For longevity, though, latex is the way to go, because it's what they use on houses, and we use the highest quality latex from Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore, and that lasts forever. I mean, they put it on the sides of 20-story buildings, and they don't have to recoat it for 30 years, 40 years.
Great, thank you for that technical assistance and information. So public art can represent the highest expression of culture and elevate a profile of a city. Stated goals for this project included that a successful project would maximize the site-specific nature of the building as a canvas, leveraging its unique architecture while creating deliberate linkages between the artwork and the pedestrian. So Eric and Ryan, tell us a bit about the technology that enhances the viewer's experience of the project. And I know you touched on it, that you were pretty excited that the budget would allow you to do AR, which augmented reality. You might explain that technology for those of us who don't know much about it, and kind of that whole process, how you collaborated and how you made that happen.
Yeah, so augmented reality, if you're unaware of it, is when I first heard of it, it was through children's books. And it was a way you would download an app and be able to point your phone with that app at the book, and the children's book would come to life. And then I art directed a children's book with Augmented Island. And then when I got to know these people and the group, we for probably a year we were talking about doing one, but it is very expensive to do, and it's very time consuming. So when this project came along, we were like, this would be perfect. It would be a way to, connect all three walls together and tell a story through the AR, which would be the hummingbird traveling and kind of leading you visually through the story.
So Ryan, did you want to add anything to that?
I was just going to say, like, leading up to this, we knew it was possible, but we knew that there was going to be a lot of hurdles to kind of jump over. But again, these are one of those things where you kind of just dive in and kind of problem solve as you go. There's a lot of things that we learned because this wasn't something normal. It had only previously been done 2 other times that we're aware of. One by a friend of ours named Nichos, based out of Austria, and then another Bond based out of Germany. So we felt in pretty good hands, like that here in the US and from our homework, that nobody had really achieved anything of this sort. So it was a combination of like, we knew we wanted to do this augmented reality. We knew it was ahead of its time as far as muraling goes. And we just had to kind of go for it and figure out the process and step by step. And because it is a wall and there's all these exterior issues, there was a lot of problem solving, but we figured it out. And now we're actually implementing it quite regularly on a different scale and larger scale moving forward. And we can talk about that in a little bit on about our next project.
So before we leave this augmented reality topic, I'm just curious, how does one gain access to it? Like if I go to Columbus, what do I need to do to actually experience the augmented reality?
So go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead. So for this project, there was an app that was specifically made for this building. So you would download the app, and there are plaques around the building that tell you the website, or if you go on the app store and just type in the Journey Mural AR, it'll pop up. You download that and it'll prompt you to pick up your phone and point it at the mural. And that's how it is activated for this project.
Yeah, and then it also has like back-end information about us as the artists, Short North Arts District, I believe Hodan, Augmented Island. It just has, all the team players that were involved. It kind of gives you a little bit of that. But we've actually, fast forward to now, the project that we're doing now, we've actually are working with a tech company who has surpassed the concept of using apps. So from now on, moving forward, any augmented reality that we do will be appless. And what that means is that you will just be able to point your phone straight up to our wall, and it should ask you if you want to activate it, and you hit yes, and it just starts. And wow. So for that, fast forward 2 years, we think we've come a long way.
Incredible.
Yeah, well, I kind of spilled the beans on that one a little bit. It's coming out. It's coming out shortly.
So that leads me to my next question. What's next for you guys? What are you guys working on right now? I know Eric's on his way back from Tulsa, and Ryan, you just got back from Tulsa on Sunday. So
yeah,
I don't know if you can tell us anything about that project, but
I saw a question asking.
To play that AR.
The video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show you guys a little bit about like how it works and what it looks like.
Awesome. Let's do that. I think Megan's going to take us there. Love it. Some magic.
I still have seen that video.
Magic inserted.
Yeah.
So I guess that could lead into the project that we're working on now. We just finished the mural portion. It's a 15,000 square foot mural in Tulsa, in downtown Tulsa, in the Art Deco district. The inspiration behind that is Art Deco and just native Tulsan imagery. We have an image of that, don't we, Ryan, in the presentation?
We do.
We want to show.
I think it's page 18 or 19. Little side note to that is the augmented reality mural in Columbus, Ohio, has the world record for largest augmented reality mural in the world. Unfortunately, we're kind of trumping that, and this will now be the world record. We just beat ourselves, but now Tulsa will have the largest augmented reality mural in the world.
Wow. And this is an image.
Sorry, Columbus.
Ryan, is what we're looking at an image of the Tulsa project?
This is 15,000 square feet. It wraps around the corner, so you're only seeing a portion of it. There's the other side. These are not completed. We're still waiting on final imagery. Literally, we just got down from the swing stages Sunday, and Eric is still driving back. But this was 5 weeks of 14-hour days. I think we took 2 days off.
Wow.
Because of weather. Wasn't our choice to take days off. It was because of weather.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned earlier that putting a team together in with these kinds of projects is really important. Who are the team members? Like, do you have other people who paint, or do you guys only do all of the painting yourselves, or how does that
we do. We have our direct assistants, and we usually have one assistant each, is Angie Navarro and Shane Jessup. This is their information here. And then we use Chop 'em Down Films for most of our projects. Augmented Island Studios was the AR company that we used for this project. And then Short North AJ Capital Partners is the owners of Graduate Hotels, Short North Alliance, Columbus Inspires, Our Helpers, Greater Columbus Commission, Greater Columbus Arts Council. These were everybody. These were the stakeholders. And honestly, this was probably one of the easiest projects as far as a working relationship with everybody involved. It was a very, very organic process. I keep mentioning Betsy and Caitlin, but they were a really big part of this job getting through. And CODAworx as well. CODAworx supported us through this project, showed up to our opening unveiling as well as our artist talk. It does take a large team. It does. And this job was even bigger. This job, we have even more people involved. And yeah, it does take a great team to be able to execute this stuff. There's no way me and Eric would be able to do this by ourselves.
And give us a sneak peek into future projects. You're gonna stay with girls, or what are you up to?
Actually, in 2 weeks, there's a photograph of that too. I believe it's the last 2 pages of our presentation. I think Eric might have gotten kicked off.
I think so too.
This is it. This is in Inglewood, California. So we're actually, like I said, every job that we get the opportunity to have and to approach with a new objective and try to push the envelope of what we've done before. Every job we get gives us that opportunity. So anyone who's thinking about hiring us, just think the next job is going to be even better. But this job is important. It's a community RFQ. It's the same thing. It's a percentage for the arts. This is public art at its finest. This is directly across the street from the new stadium in Inglewood, California. This is an apartment complex that is supposed to be half residential and then half is for helping homeless and recovering addicts to get back on their feet and kind of get back into the community. So this was housing for that. And so what we did was we created, this is a 5-story mural. The mural itself isn't very big, but the budget was very big on this project. So what we ended up doing was we ended up stepping outside of the box, hiring engineers, and figuring out how to implement a sculptural portion to this mural. So this mural will be it will be a 24/7 experience. So during the day, you will have a 5-story beautiful mural that me and Eric will paint, as well as augmented reality, which you'll be able to point up and use your phone. But then at night, we've had these acrylic panels cut out and engineered to be reliefs that come off of the building and are actually sculptures that are going to be adhered to the wall and actually continue the mural off of the wall in a lighting pattern lit with LED lighting. So we're really trying to step outside ourselves, but still remain true to muraling. Moving forward right now, our goal is to continue to grow. And something that's really attractive to myself and Eric right now is public installations on a large scale, meaning sculptures and you know, airports and parks, and just all of that very, very much interests us. And so we're slowly trying to gear ourselves and prepping ourselves with working with the right engineers and people to help us facilitate our imagination.
Well, it sounds like you've assembled a great team and you're totally ready for all of those great things. Eric, I saw that you got back in. Did you want to?
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay.
My phone overheated because I have it on my windshield. So I had to wait till it cooled down.
Tell people where you are. Tell people where you are.
I'm at the edge of Zion National Park, about to drive through and then down through Vegas back to LA. It's just that's the route we decided to go back so we could have some scenery back from Tulsa.
Yeah. He's driving all the supplies back from Tulsa.
Yeah.
So, are there any additional questions in the chat?
Yes. We had a question come in from Namaya. Are you able to keep the copyrights and reproduction rights on the projects?
Good question. Typically, no. You do hold, and Eric, you could jump in here. You do hold, what is it called?
Intellectual property rights.
Yeah, you still have intellectual property rights, but the copyright, typically when people are spending $250,000, they want to own it.
And the reason for that, most of the time, what's been explained to me is because they're going to be using the mural as promotion. So they don't want to have to check in with us every time they, you know, put it up on a billboard or if they advertise it in the airport.
The only time that they would have to talk to us is if there was monetary gain involved. So like they can't go sell it somewhere else without our approval, but it is for them to use in any advertisement or any way to help advertise their building.
So can they print it on a t-shirt and sell it or anything like that?
That's when the line gets crossed, I think. I think they can print it in an ad, which technically does bring you some monetary compensation, but it's not direct, so it's kind of hard to prove. But I think like we're okay with people advertising it. We want more people to know about Hodan. We want more people to know about this mural. We want more people to know about what the Somali population is doing, and anything else that gears, you know, more people towards them is amazing for us, you know.
Yeah. Amanda, any additional questions?
Not at this time. Feel free to ask away. I think we're wrapped up with the topics, and after we do some Q&A, we're going to do our giveaway.
All right. Well, I'll wrap up my little bit, and if any additional questions come in, we can certainly address them. Ryan and Eric and Hodan, thank you for joining us this evening and sharing this very beautiful project with the world. And thank you for being part of CODAworx's community. You guys are awesome. We're huge fans of yours. I can't wait to see you in an airport. And for anyone who has not seen the 2020 CODA Award winning projects, head over to the Architects Foundation website where you can peruse it on your own time virtually. And if you love these sorts of technology enhanced art projects, join us, CODAworx, in Scottsdale, Arizona, November 10 through 12 for CODA Summit.
I will be there as well.
Yes, he will be speaking. So, and I'll be there. Any other questions pop in before we say good night?
No, it doesn't look like it. So it looks like we're going to be doing our giveaway, which is for an art print that has augmented reality. And so we're going to be giving away 2 of those. Oh my gosh.
My cat come to every one of my
Show you guys what they look like real quick.
That's his cameo.
So the first winner we have is Kimber Slazinski. I hope I said that right. Congratulations. And then the second winner we have is Marlene Jefferson. So Marlene and her will be following up with you after the event and getting those sent to you. Congratulations.
Oh, how cool. Nice. Well, I would like to thank Marcy Reed and Amanda again for everything that you do, and Megan in support of CODA award winners and CODAworx. We love being your partner. Thank you so much, and have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Octagon Museum. Thank you, AIA, CODAworx, and everyone involved. You guys are all amazing. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Safe travels, Eric.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Hodan.